Yes, people, hello, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel, Football Therapy, with me, your host, Jan, here to tell you about all the stuff that's going on regarding Chelsea Football Club and giving you my take on it. So, welcome back to Chelsea News. People said to me on my Instagram live, Jan, we could be signing Paulinho. What do you think of Paulinho? From Fulham, of course, transformative player, one that Bayern Munich tried and failed to sign in the summer. Thomas Tuchel wanted him. Could he come to Chelsea? We know that Pochettino wants a defender, a midfielder, and a striker. So he wants a whole new spine despite Chelsea spending loads of money. But Chelsea can apparently reportedly can continue spending money without falling foul into financial fair play, despite being a mid-table club. How does that ruddy work? Well, strap yourselves in, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go through it today. Thank you for joining me, thank you for continuing to support the content simply by liking and subscribing, and I look forward to reading your comments as we go. Some positive news off the bat: Christopher Nkunku training with the boys at Cobham. Again, he looks like he exists. I've seen photographs of him, and I don't think they're AI generated. I think this guy is a real person. Speculation that he could make a debut at the weekend against Sheffield. Look, I'm really annoyed they got Chris Wilder in. We will do a preview for that game after Pochettino's pre-match press conference, of course. But in the meantime, we hope and pray we speculated he could have made his introduction into this Chelsea team, Nkunku that is, weeks ago. Still, I'm not sure what's going on with Lavia. I think he's a bit behind, but Malo Gusto coming back would be massive, of course, being a conventional right back. Now, knowing that Reece James has yet another hamstring injury and will be out for a while, so we need Malo back, but they look like they've been training at Cobham. That's massive for us, and we can feel good about that, hopefully. Before we talk about this article from Team Talk, which is speaking about Osimhen and Paulinho, I want to talk about yesterday's video a little bit more. Of course, I did an update on the pinned comment. In the Premier League meeting, they did vote against amortization over the 5-year period, So Chelsea, of course, already had that with UEFA. UEFA made that rule change and capped it to 5 years. Now the Premier League has followed and also capped it to 5 years. Couple of really notable things, though, that came out of that meeting yesterday. The first being, and it's a massive positive, it's not been backdated, which was speculated that a few clubs were making the inquiry. Not speculated, apparently a few clubs were making the inquiry about backdating it, which essentially would have screwed Chelsea over financially massively. Of course, we've signed players like Enzo and Caicedo on 8 years plus, Enzo 9.5 years, to amortize their contract over that length to help with the finances. They haven't backdated that, so Chelsea, with these biblical level of investments, that they can continue to structure that financially the way they initially desired, which keeps us safe in financial fair play. And also, as Matt Law said on the very good London is Blue podcast, had they backdated it, it would have screwed up. It would have caused legal action, certainly from Chelsea. So they were like, look, let's stop this now. UEFA stopped it, let's stop it here as well. So the second interesting thing is that Chelsea also voted against it, which I think is great. I think it's 50% trolling and 50% oh, okay, if you don't want to do it, guys, we'll vote with you. We are camaraderie. I was just saying in yesterday's video, and I still kind of stand by this, clubs are out to get each other and send each other down. But I think Chelsea, by doing this, they're kind of going, oh, okay, we were just trying to do what we thought was working for us. But if you guys don't want this, we'll have a talk about it before they probably get a drink, or a meal in the restaurant, and says, okay, we'll join your collective vote, power together, strength and power, and we'll vote against it as well. So Chelsea got their business done. They got their 8-year contracts, their Mudryks, their Caicedos, their Enzos, their Noni Maduekes, in terms of investments. Of course, people like Breuer signed long-term deals. He's an academy product, though. Other players as well. I'm pretty sure Wes Fofana's on a 7-year plus deal. So all these players that they invested a lot in, these young players, and amortized their contracts, that's all locked in. They're safe. They feel like they've got this young talent to develop over a long time, even if Chelsea are poor at the moment, and more on that in a minute in terms of making Chelsea better. They feel like, right, we've locked that down. Maybe they will continue doing long contracts. Maybe they find incentives generally locking down talent on low wages. They might still see value in that. We'll have to see in the next transfer windows. But for the moment, they're on board with the team. So I think it's less shithousing and more like, because remember Bowley, when he touched down the Premier League, he sort of addressed the Premier League owners like, bros and sisses, you're massively undervalued here. None of you are making enough money. And let's make loads more money. There was a bit of that when Bowley arrived. Whether they're still doing that, whether they want to listen to a guy who has spent all his money and is in the bottom half of the Premier League table, I don't know. But probably the fact still remains that the Premier League clubs are massively undervalued in terms of revenue, whether it's streaming services, whether it's, deals. No one's making as much money as they can. I think that's probably very true, especially Chelsea. So anyway, Chelsea jumped on board. There's no reason to worry about the voting now, and hopefully Chelsea are happy with the business they've done. They probably, like Matt Law said, they probably sensed the way the wind was blowing anyway as soon as UEFA changed it. So they were prepared for this, and they're probably quite content that they came in, they managed to do a bunch of high-profile, high-value deals on the long contracts before the rules were changed. So they'll probably look at that as a win, and now they'll look at the next ways they can, manipulate the system and get the best out of the market for Chelsea, Anyway, let me know what you think about that. We're going to jump over to an article from Fraser Gillen on Team Talk, talking about both Paulinho and Osimhen. Just to reiterate, we know Pochettino wants a defender, midfielder and striker in the January transfer window, which is a few days away. Wild, isn't it? Few days away. Napoli forward Victor Osimhen is a key target for Chelsea in January, while Joao Paulinho, I don't know if it's pronounced Joao or it's just Joao, Paulinho's representatives have sounded out the blues over a deal as Mauricio Pochettino aims to build a new spine for the team. Team Talk can exclusively reveal. Paulinho, context, transformative for Fulham. I think Bayern Munich, we're going to buy him for £70 million. Bad news if we sign Paulinho for someone or some people. You'd think Lavia will be thinking, oh, bloody hell. But Gallagher / Enzo. I mean, or can I say, who's safe here? Just because you cost a lot of money, doesn't mean you're safe. Chelsea are again set to be one of the most active clubs in the upcoming transfer window as Pochettino pushes for improvements to his struggling side. The Argentinian wants a whole new spine for his team. While reinforcements in every area of the squad are on his wish list. The coach has major concerns over the current quality. I mean, we haven't spent much money, so it's understandable. Obviously in jest, I say that. At his disposal, with Team Talk reporting on Monday that he's set to axe 7 Chelsea stars worth a combined 160 million to make ways for new recruits. Wow. I mean, a lot of those players are probably, you think like Martson, 30 million, Trevo, 25 million. So you're already on 55. Noni apparently wants to leave. Really, really interesting. This is interesting. A new goalkeeper is an ambition, but the club have continued to back Robert Sanchez as number one, as it will be difficult to convince the hierarchy otherwise before the summer. Yeah, I don't think Sanchez is our biggest problem at the moment. And regardless of your opinion of him, if you think he's got a high ceiling, or if you think he's been underperforming and not good enough, I think everyone together would probably think, right, he's not the biggest problem. So AC Milan and France star Mike Maignan, Big Mike, is admired, but would cost around 70 million quid. His contract goes to 2026. Yeah, I just don't think dropping 70 million quid on a goalkeeper is the solution. Yeah, I just don't. A new centre-back is a priority, and Mark Gahey has been coveted for a long time, but Crystal Palace are adamant they're keeping him until next summer. Yes, and I've said this as well recently, that I do believe if you're Mark and you're currently in the England squad and you're playing games for Gareth Southgate, you do not jeopardise that. You change absolutely nothing, because especially don't look at Chelsea and think, A, I'm going to play immediately because we've got loads of centre-backs, and B, Chelsea are mental, and C, you're suddenly playing loads next to new players and that can hit your confidence. No, at the moment, like, if Maguire's injured, he just got a groin injury today, but say if he's yesterday rather, if he's injured in the summer, you're starting Mark Guehi, you're maybe starting Dunk and Stones, but he's in the squad basically, and he can get minutes, so he does not want to change that, and understandably, Palace wouldn't want to lose him mid-season as well. So I would love him back. I think he's an excellent centre-back. And if we have Mark Guehi, Wesley Fofana, Levi Colwill, and Badiashile for the long run, I don't know. A top defender will be brought in, meanwhile, while buyers could soon be sought for Axel Disasi. Flogging Disasi. He's been like the one relied on quite a lot, and he's a big, strong boy, which Pochettino wants. Interesting. One to watch is Gonçalo Inácio, the Portugal international currently playing for Sporting, who has a £52 million release clause. Of course, Jonathan Tah as well, the Bayer Leverkusen centre-back, which everyone at Bayer Leverkusen at the moment is trendy because they're the top of the Bundesliga and they're a feel-good team. Pochettino's pushing for a Chelsea revolution. Well, aren't we all, ladies and gentlemen? I've been waiting for a freaking Chelsea revolution for 2 years now. Another midfielder's desired, of course, with Pochettino asking for better quality and depth, and Conor Gallagher could be a potential makeweight in any deal with contract talks still unresolved. We'll talk about this in a second. Paulini's agents have spoken to Chelsea in a bid to try and secure their Fulham-based client in a big move in the coming weeks. So he lives in Fulham, obviously. Maybe Bayern Munich doesn't, even though Bayern Munich's Bayern Munich, maybe they don't look like the most stable thing at the moment. And maybe he wants to stay in Fulham. Like, you don't have to go far, do you? And the Premier League is the best ever. Maybe he's said to his agents, yeah, I'd go to Chelsea. The key target, but firstly, oh my God. Conor Gallagher's probably Chelsea's player of the season. He's a Chelsea fan. He shows heart. He's got a goal in him. Does that mean he's untouchable? Because Chelsea doesn't work, man. We're like a Rubik's Cube that can't be solved. I'm such a big proponent and advocate of the midfield being the heart of every team. And maybe it isn't just like a super good Chelsea fan who's really good at pressing and tackling and scores the goal, which sounds amazing, but maybe he's just not the right profile. I don't know, man. I wouldn't like to see him go, but I don't know, man. It's just friggin' mental, isn't it? I mean, I think because Chelsea are doing so bad, he looks like a bright spark, so everyone thinks he's the only good thing about Chelsea, but you just need to be so philosophical about how you look at every individual and goes, why is everyone else playing bad? Even if he looks like he's better, I'm not saying this is the case, but even if he looks like he's better, maybe if he was someone else, everyone else would be better. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying that's the case, but I'm saying you've got to keep your mind open, philosophically, analytically, tactically, with the midfield. Look, Paulini is he is sensational, and he would be an incredible signing for Chelsea if he's available in January. Yeah, I'll take him. The key target is a striker who can fire the club back into the upper echelons of the Premier League table. Of course, Victor Osimhen is the preferred option, and there's growing anticipation of a bid in January, despite the huge cost it would take to prize him away from Napoli. Of course, we know De Laurentiis, the big dog at Napoli, he's like the Italian Serie A version of Daniel Levy. Very hard to do business with. Ivan Toney, of course, is also on Chelsea's radar, but there's no major movement on a deal, and he could sign a new contract at Brentford, who are keen to sign him to a new long-term arrangement, I guess to increase his value. I don't know. Toney wants to leave Brentford, surely. He's 27, isn't he? He wants to play Champions League. He's in that, he's entering, the Wilfried Zaha zone. Remember when Wilfried Zaha, probably around Toney's age, signed a new deal, and it just locked him down at Palace, priced him out of a move, and he had to run his contract down, and now he's at Galatasaray, who, by the way, they're in the Europa League now. They obviously finished third rather than second. They'll be disappointed with that. But, he's playing in Europe, amazing fan base. But Ivan Toney, look at that. Look at the Wilfried Zaha example. Do you want to, if you sign this contract, you could be locked in the Zaha zone when you want to play Champions League football in your 20s, while you're still in your 20s. So that's something to consider. I could see him going to Arsenal, to be honest, but we'll see what happens with Ivan Toney. Gallagher has also been looked at in mid-season as a viable option should they be priced out of a January move for Osimhen or beaten to the signature of Toney. By the way, Paul Winstanley, one of Chelsea's co-sporting directors, has put in some legwork for Ivan Toney, but that was a while ago, and it may have just gone cold a little bit. So Victor, the Sporting striker, has been superb with 9 goals in his first 12 Liga Portugal games and is admired by several clubs around Europe. Sporting are not keen to lose a key player midway through the season, though, and sources say he would cost a huge fee, and some are misled by thinking he's a cheaper alternative. Ugh. The Swede signed for Sporting last summer from Coventry City for an initial 20 million euros with another 4. Wow, 24 million euros from Coventry. That's a big, big fee. Moreover, the 25-year-old's contract included a 100 million termination fee. Yeah, so if they've only just signed him for 24 million and they're in the mid-season and he's doing well for them, you know, they'll probably say 60, 70 million euros or something, wouldn't they? So he's not going to be cheap. Another name in the frame, of course, for Chelsea is the electrifying Norwegian attacker Antonio Nusa. So Chelsea, of course, bid for him £23 million. It was knocked back for the 18-year-old in the summer. They're expected to try again, but as Fabrizio Romano has confirmed recently, about 8 or 10 European clubs are in for Nusa. And let's have it right, ladies and gentlemen, an 18-year-old, wide attacker is he the solution to our juvenile misfiring team? Almost certainly not. It will be a very busy month though for the London side, and fans can yet expect Chelsea to be dominating the headlines, spending loads of money. Let's bring it on home then. We will sign a striker. I'm certain of it. Well, unless Nkunku starts down the middle against Sheffield, scores 2 goals, keeps his place for the following games, and scores every single game as a striker. And we've got a front three of Sterling, Nkunku, Palmer, and they start linking up, popping goals everywhere. Then maybe in that instance we don't sign a striker in January. But midfielder, defender. Look, if we sign, I'd love Gallagher, but he won't go mid-season. If we somehow get Paulinho from Fulham, flying high Fulham, I'd be very, very happy. Let me know what you think. I'm gonna put it out to you guys. Comment down below. Would you be able to sacrifice Gallagher for Paulinho? Again, I feel so sorry for saying that. I feel so bad for saying that. But it might just be a profile thing. I'm not sure, to be honest, how I feel about it. But Paulinho himself is an excellent player. Comment down below your striker choices, your defender choices, your midfielder choices. And I look very forward. I very much look forward to reading your comments. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing to Football Therapy. And I'll see you back here very soon. Peace.